Is have you ever unintentionally self-sabotaged? Just quick show of hands. Use your hands up function here in Zoom if you have ever unintentionally self-sabotaged. Yeah, I'm going to put my hand up here because I most definitely have. I have hands going up, thumbs up. Yep, we're seeing it. All right. So, true story to tell here. When I first started as a project manager, I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm running my first project. I'm a project manager. And the first thing I did on my first project was to write a project charter. For anyone who hasn't done this, a project charter is a very annoyingly detailed, nitpicky document that outlines what the project is going to be. Pretty much nobody likes writing them, but I liked writing mine because it was my first one. I was like, yes, project charter, best project charter ever written. So proud of it. I sent it off to my client. And the next day I got it back. They had redlined the entire document, every line in it. Not because there was anything wrong with the charter I had developed, but because they had been a copy editor in a previous life. So they literally copy edited the entire thing to AP style guidelines. Now, does anyone here think that I was super excited and said, I'm so glad that my client redlined my entire document. I'm really glad they're getting what they want out of that. No, I absolutely did not. In fact, what I thought was, who is this idiot that doesn't recognize how amazing my charter is? They're slowing everything down. They're just going to make this whole project difficult. Oh my gosh, who would even want to work with a person like this that can't even read a great document? And on and on and on. That did not help my relationship with that client in the long run. That was a big oops. And what it did is it actually set me up for a very challenging relationship with that client as we moved forward. Who here has ever worked with a perfectionist, someone who's controlling or micromanaging, overly competitive, hyperachieving, maybe overly rational or dismissive of others? Yep, I see the hands going up here. Feel free to put a Y in the chat box if that's easier for you. Just drop a Y in the chat if you've ever worked with this type of person. And please put your hands down now if you want. Please drop an M in the chat box for me if you have ever been a perfectionist, controlling, micromanaging, maybe a little overly competitive or rational, maybe dismissive of others. Yes, yes, yes. Hands up, big M here. So this is the deal with unintentional self-sabotage. It is, by its definition, unintentional. That being said, we can still learn to identify it, to see what's going on with it, and to manage it a little bit better. So that's what this program is about. Today, we are going to talk about mental fitness as a concept, as a way of identifying this unintentional self-sabotage. We're going to recognize and manage some of our internal saboteurs. That's coach language for those internal voices that are not helping us and not serving us, and how to apply mental fitness in different situations and categories, with the goal of everything being to recognize when you're unintentionally self-sabotaging, because that impacts your team as well, and gain tools and skills to shift away from that negative self-sabotaging behavior into behaviors that are more resilient. Now, as we're going through the presentation, I am a very conversational presenter. I'm very in the moment. If you have a question as we're going forward, feel free to drop it in the chat box or pop your hand up, and I'm happy to call on you if you would like to unmute and share a question with voice. Just to try out Menti and make sure we're comfortable with it, would you please let me know if you are here or not today? Good. Most people here. Already one not sure, often the case. Okay. Good. I'm seeing 43 answers in here. Unintentional self-sabotage. Saboteurs, or that self-sabotage, is coach language for thoughts, habits, and behaviors that motivate us through fear, anxiety, guilt, shame, disappointment. If you haven't heard that phrase saboteur before, just think of it as thoughts, habits, or patterns. Those internal voices in our head. Some people call them gremlins, the internal critic. Saboteurs are basically mental habits, and they are triggered by challenging events, circumstances, and people. Now, if you know, or if you ever experienced challenging events, circumstances, or no challenging people, please put a C in the chat box for challenging. I was like, oh, 3 of us, good. Right. This is what we deal with every day. And this is why resilience is so helpful to us, because we're always experiencing these challenges, be they big, be they small. They're always there. And resilience is how we move through them. So here's how the cycle works. We're experiencing life as usual. A challenge comes up. Resilience is how we respond to it. And then growth is what we learn and take away. Then this whole cycle repeats. The way this cycle matches with the saboteurs is challenges trigger saboteurs. Resilience is when we navigate those saboteurs, and then growth is what we learn from the experience. So this is in your handout. Do not worry about writing all of these down. And for anyone who needs the handout, we dropped that in the chat. I'm just going to put it in here one more time quick. There's the handout for anyone if you don't have it handy. So there's a lot of different kinds of challenges. We have how easy it is for us to socialize, how much money we have or can make, our mental health and stability, the education we've had access to and actually achieved, as well as physical ability, disability, or challenges. In addition, we have workplace challenges such as what we know, what we're able to do, the resources that are available to us, the careers that are readily available that we can access, and reorganizations. Now, here's the thing. There's personal challenges, there are workplace challenges. Please raise your hand using the raise hand feature if, as the standard, as typical, if you experience a challenge at work, it has no impact on you at home, or if you experience a challenge at home, it has no impact on you at work. If that's the standard, if that's how it usually goes. Okay, I got 1 thumbs up here. There's usually 1 or 2 people. Cool. So some people have that really good division. We have a good, like, personal, professional, like, very clearly delineated. For a lot of us, they're combined. One impacts the other. The reason I bring this up is a lot of our culture, and when I say culture, I mean kind of our greater Western culture, has this expectation of you go to work and you do the thing, and then you go home and you be the amazing home person, and that there's some sort of magical divide between the two, and those are 2 different people. They're not. We experience them holistically. Personal challenges affect us at work, workplace challenges affect us at home. So it's really hard to just go to work and leave your baggage at the door, or go home and leave work at work. And we need to be able to give ourselves a little bit of grace around that. For most of us, that is an interrelated part of our lives. Digging a little bit deeper into this universal saboteur of the judge. So the judge has 3 modes that it functions in, and we all experience one or more of these saboteurs. It's the judge of self, others, and circumstances. The judge of self is, oh my goodness, I am such an idiot. I have done something wrong. Bad me, angry me. And just drop a J, or actually drop an S for self in the chat box if you've ever said something to yourself that you would never, ever in a million years ever say to anyone else. Something really judgy, something really mean. You idiot, you're so stupid. So this is what I say to myself, by the way, that I'm putting out here, and worse. Let's just say I get a couple cusses that come in when I'm talking to me. I'm not very kind. Yeah, that judge of self, and it's insidious. And it's such a habit for a lot of us. We may have tons of kindness and compassion for others, like, oh, someone else made a mistake. That's okay. They're learning. I made a mistake. I am awful. How could I do that? We judge ourselves hard, and that creates internal anxiety and stress. The next one is the judge of others. So the first one, I'm an idiot. Second one, you're an idiot. Just drop an O in the chat box if you may have judged other people unkindly at some point. Yes, yes, my hand is going up here too. I've done it. I have been the person making that sad little potato donut waffle ball. I don't know what that thing is, but it's sad. Yes, we judge other people. We don't have the empathy for them. We don't have patience, and it creates stress in our relationships with them. And the last one, this is the sneaky one, and it's a little more insidious. It can be harder to pick up. That is the judge of circumstances. The judge of circumstances says, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I get that job. I get that raise. I get that relationship. I take that vacation. I get that certification. I eat that snack. Whatever it is, it says, I'll be happy when. Please put a C in the chat box if you have experienced this judge of circumstances, especially because, again, it moves that goalpost. It says you'll be happy when, then you do the thing and you're still not happy.